Noxalestra, Campaign 2. Glad to have you all back. It's been a long time. We had a couple of personal stuff to handle outside of game, but we're back, ready to roll. For those that did not get to witness the second session, the party is currently on a ship. They had battled some slime mucus creatures and had been successful, though they had lost the captain and one of the other crew, though the first mate and her daughter are still alive. Currently there is a storm that has been rolling in towards the north that is getting dangerously close to now. The party had originally gotten some of the, or fought the slime creatures and had taken the bodies to the priestess of Tara within the town itself. But we're not given a lot of answers except for Basura learning that his red skin might be some sort of prophecy fulfillment in some way. The party had banded together and had a couple of different interactions within having breakfast this morning, and had now gone through the ship in order to figure out some of the glowing green lights that were happening deeper at sea. Unfortunately, the person that had originally known about them, the captain themselves, has been brutally destroyed or murdered. And so the party finds themselves now on a boat, a storm, not slowly, but now quickening to their position, with only the first mate and Alara left, and only I think only 2 people are able to pilot said ship. Let's do that. Sure, I'll go with that. That's fine. The acrid tang of slime and ozone hangs heavy in the air, a sickening counterpoint to the growing symphony of the approaching dark clouds of the storm. Your victory over the attackers feels kind of hollow, a prelude to something that is happening and unfolding before your eyes. The ship, though covered in hunks of mucus from the exploding creatures themselves, and they cling to the deck like grotesque trophies, with a stench clinging to your clothes and hair. Rose leans against the railing, her weathered face etched with a grim determination as blood streaks down her arm, hastily bandaging it, but her eyes hold a spark of defiance. Beside her, her daughter runs and clutches her arm, as well as a tattered doll, her eyes wide with reflecting the churning turmoil in the sky. The once vibrant canvas of the middle of the day in the sun has now been shadowed and consumed by the rolling storm clouds. The wind no longer a playful whisper, as it awakens with a guttural howl that seems to emanate from the very depths of the ocean. It claws at the rigging, whipping the remaining sails into a frenzy. "Bring down the sails now, hurry!" Rose yells to you, as her voice cuts through the wind, laced with raw desperation you've never heard before. The sails, some of them already coated in the sticky substance from the creatures, billow wildly, threatening to rip free entirely. What do you all do?
I'm gonna ask her what rope pulls down the sails.
That one, just anything you can do, cut all ropes.
Miidyr moves to
Thank
cut a
you.
rope.
Got an axe, right? I got my axe.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
start chopping ropes.
Hacking sails.
I don't have a sharp object, so
Honey, just move, please.
Good sir, use your pencil from your book. It'll cut. I promise.
I'm gonna
I just starts technically trying to cut. Just use your pen. Oh god.
I'm gonna cower out of the way. Well, not cower, but just I'm gonna hunker down.
Okay. As you all try to run towards the riggings and the rope and the pulleys, everyone starts just slashing at whatever ropes they can. As you start slashing and cutting through with wild abandon, the sails themselves whip up into the air, kind of being gusted and twirled and dancing in this torment of wind that is now blowing through across the ship, as the clouds seem to be evolving as though oil across water, just succumbing to whatever is available space up in the air, as they are rolling across faster than you've ever seen clouds move. With a deafening crack, a bolt of lightning, thicker and more vibrant than you've ever witnessed, streaks down from the heavens, and it slams down into the water next to you with a deafening dragon's-like roar. The force of the impact sends waves on atop of the board of the ship, and as well it seems to even dwarf some of the waves that are slamming into you. But it's not just sound. There seems to be a voice, a guttural roar of primal power that speaks of ancient rage and boundless power that is starting to push across the ship itself. And in that heart-stopping moment, as you see a wave that is taller than the mast itself, reaching over and grabbing as though the claws of Tara herself are gripping into the ship, you realize this is no mere tempest. This is a divine manifestation. This storm is Tara, the ocean's wrath personified, her anger unleashed upon the world, and you, a tiny speck on a storm-tossed vessel, find yourselves caught in the crosshairs of a deity's fury. And the wave crashes across as everybody grabs onto the closest thing that they can, feeling the sting of the salt in their eyes and their nose and their mouth, gasping at air at any moment they can as the water slowly recedes off and the boat continues to rock back and forth.
Can I head below deck and try to gather up whatever empty barrels I can find from the galley and bring them up onto the deck?
Yes. As you rush down to the underneath the ship itself proper, you go down and you can see that while the salt water is slowly draining off, some of the more lighter items have begun to float gently as the bottom deck is starting to take on water. And you grab up some barrels that you can. Go ahead and give me a strength check for some of them. I'll just go ahead and just give me a raw strength check for some of the heavier things.
I'd like to say that Flora would have followed and is helping
Nice
if
roll.
possible.
You can go ahead and have an advantage on that too, Fault.
Oh.
As Flora rushes down, her fur and ears kind of pushing up against her back of her head as they grip, trying to get the water away as she shakes off her fur every now and then.
Well, advantage helped. 22.
Nice.
22. You and Flora are able to grab some of these barrels and other items and start to bring them up to the top of the deck.
We don't want these to be crushed if the waves capsize. We want these to be intact so that we can latch on.
It's a grim thought, but I appreciate the planning.
You can see Rose is gripping tightly to the wheel itself, with her daughter grabbing her leg and tears flowing as she's gripping tightly, and Rose is just slowly brushing her daughter's hair and gripping onto the wheel itself as it is turning on its own, and she eventually releases the grip and succumbs to the direction of whatever the storm and the sea decides to go. As you can see it whipping in one direction, snapping as the ship begins to turn counterclockwise, and then the winds buffet and the waves jump upon the deck again, pushing it into another direction and rotating the wheel again and violently. And at this time it violent so hard you can hear and a snapping of wood as you can see the rudder from the back begin to float up and dip beneath the waves, pushing away further as the only means of causing direction and forcefulness into the storm has been removed.
I am sticking close to my husband. What the fuck?
I think I'm gonna throw up.
You do you, honey.
I'm gonna move closer to Rose and her child. Just
I'm gonna
keeping an eye on them since I can swim well.
straight up make a survival jump. I'm like, oh my god.
Snarf, with your survival check and your experience in Canada and being on the a close to the ocean for the last couple of years, you know that the chances of surviving a storm like this in this type of vessel are relatively slim. The storm is buffeting and causing a bunch of water to go onto the board, which is also leaking into the bottom of the ship itself. And the amount, it would probably in a matter of minutes to hours, depending on how many waves go on, is going to completely sink the ship. Taking on this amount of water is not meant to happen, and the galley underneath is, as Tsena has come up and said that, as you can see the barrels being lifted up, the bottom of them are being soaked in water, and this wood being so dry and cured is soaking up the water into these barrels. You can also tell that the storm itself is deep, miles and miles long. As you're looking north, all you can see is black and the occasional strike of lightning that reflects off the high peaks of the waves shining into the distance. As you look back towards shore where the town once was, you see nothing but a blur of rain and lightning and occasional lights, brief, tiny, dim lights towards the shore's entrance, towards the shore that are again succumbed and engulfed by the storm itself. The ship is turning in every which direction. Whatever the water, the winds decide to pull or push, you are having a hard time deciding what direction everything is going. Even though with your 23, you are able to keep track of what north is. So you are in your mind mentally tracking where north is, because you know in this situation the best thing to have is the direction that you are facing. So you are tracking north currently.
I would like to cast light on the tip of one of my ears.
Okay.
In case we get separated, and if you see the light, head towards the light.
Aren't you generally not supposed to head towards the light?
Well, in
Different
this
light,
case,
love.
you are. Don't argue with me.
Yes,
What?
ma'am.
I don't know
This
if I
is
would
gonna
know
seem
anything
kind of
about
morbid,
this.
but I'm gonna go to where the captain is if he hasn't gone off the boat yet. And
Let
go through
me
pockets
roll
where
real quick
compass
for
are gonna
that.
be.
The captain's body has been pushed towards one of the railings as it's slowly, just the left side of their hip are gripped onto one of the railings themselves, as the other body just kind of, the other half, the upper part, is just kind of flowing off the side of the ship.
Alright, I'm gonna grab him, try to pull him back onto the deck, and then kind of go through his pockets for any kind of compass or anything like that.
Yeah, go and give me a strength check to pull him against the wind and the water that's bashing through.
Alex,
Yes.
would you say that in Quicks there is such a thing as sand sailing?
Yes.
So do I get the feeling like if we were to try and use the sails in any way, shape, or form to catch this wind, it would work at all, or would it just tear it apart?
Currently, as you're witnessing the amount of wind that is blowing through, as well as the directionality of this wind, which continues to buffet in multiple different directions, the sail would actually hinder, which is why Rose was cut the sails. It'll pull the ship, it'll pull it in random directions. Right now, you're just at the mercy of the water itself and the forces that are pushing against that, rather than the water and the wind.
Got it. Okay.
But as you witness this, the storm is increasing in ferocity. There is no abating. There is no stopping or pausing of whatever divine Tara's intervention that is happening right now seems to stop, quell. There are no breaks. The world has become a churning vortex of sound and fury. Her wrath has fully descended, and the once proud ship that you are on is but a plaything in the raging ocean's grasp. The wind, no longer content with the whipping sails, now howls with a deafening roar, tearing at the very timbers and wood that constructs this vessel itself. The mast that is now slowly creaking in the wind snaps with the force of the wind that is pushing it, and you can feel the rain of splinters and wood that rains down upon the deck and is quickly washed away with the waves that are slamming the deck continuously. The once
I knew
steady.
It was a bad idea.
I'm gonna lash the two of us together.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, use that rope. Where are you lashing yourself? Go ahead and move your characters to wherever they are currently, and I will start move everyone else that is.
I'm gonna literally tie Saul to me to make sure I don't lose him anywhere in this. Pufferfish.
At least they're happy fish. The once steady deck kind of tilts with alarming abandon as monstrous waves rise like malevolent deities, their crests shimmering with an eerie luminescence from each strike of lightning that crosses the sky. The ship with the groan of the wood is starting to creak up against each other as the right or starboard side begins to push against the left or port side, and sheer forces are starting to push it in opposite directions. It's almost as though there is a scream of torture from the boat itself as a living sentient organism that is being torn from every way. Below deck, the cargo shifts violently, adding its own chaotic counterpoint to this symphony of seemingly endless destruction. Crates splinter and break, their contents below you can hear being tossed like deadly projectiles, and everyone clings desperately to whatever handholds that they can find. Your muscles are screaming in protest as each is a reflex rather than a predicted force from your body. You are just waiting and hoping and praying that whatever direction or thing that happens, you are able to handle it. Looking up, you can see Rose, and her face still unchanged, a mask of grim determination, as her body is tied to the helm itself that has been shattered, with her small daughter wrapped tightly around with more knots than she herself has. And in her eyes, you see the same horrifying realization that has dawned on every one of you, that your fate, again, is no longer in your hands. You are at the mercy of this storm. There's nothing left to do but hold on, pray to whatever deities may hear you above, and to weather the onslaught with whatever strength that you can. This is a battle you cannot win, only endure, as the storm can decide fates, and all you can do is wait and hope. Basura. A wave of monstrous wall of water infused with some sort of unnatural crimson light crashes over the deck, and it seems to be pointed more towards you than anyone else, as it swims around your body, momentarily engulfing you. And your eyes sting, your lungs reach out for air as you start to take in that fresh water. And as the water recedes, you sputter, and a salty haze blurs your vision. The world around you seems to warp, the groaning of the ship replaced by churning water, and you find yourself suspended within a vast ocean. A chaotic reflection of the storm above, but below is calm, flowing. But this isn't ordinary seawater. There is a crimson light, the color of a storm-torn sunset, and it pulses with an unsettling energy. Beneath the waves, you see creatures of dazzling hues, their scales shimmering like emeralds and sapphires, fleeing in terror from the crimson flood that washes over them. Their forms dissolve into shimmering wisps as they touch the blood-red water. And a voice vast and ancient booms through the depths. It speaks a language beyond words. It is a symphony of crashing waves and howling winds, yet somehow there is an understanding that reaches your mind. Images flash before you, a world drowned in blood. The once endless ocean solidified into a barren wasteland. The gentle sea breeze turns into a relentless storm, lashing the land with fury. Vibrant reefs that held color now sway and destroy in a gray-like dust as they float into the blood itself. Swaying kelp are replaced by vast emptiness in a tomb for life that once thrived. A colossal figure rises from the depths. It's a form of swirling vortex of blood-like water. And you see and recognize this as Tara. Her eyes blazing with unsettling power. Her voice a deafening roar. You feel a surge of power course through you as you connect with this red water. But fear wrestles with this newfound power. Is this the future that you see? The vision shatters, and you find yourself back on the storm-tossed deck. The smell of salt water and raw power of the storm fills back into your senses. As you can see Rose and Alara, fear etched on their faces. They cling to each other amidst the chaos. Your heart pounds with new urgency. Something connects you to whatever you just saw, but currently you have to deal with what is in front of your face.
I'm gonna yell out, did anybody else see that?
By the ghost
Yeah.
of Vince McMahon-Handles. Oh my god.
I just see
See
a lot of
what?
rain.
See. Yes.
Just never mind. I'm gonna grab the 2 civilians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get them in my arm to kind of like bear hug them against one of the banisters. My brain forgot what the word is.
They are currently tied to the helm itself, the wheel, turning wheel down into the center of the ship itself. So they are currently tied to that.
I'm just gonna bear hug around them then.
Okay. Each monstrous wave slams against the hull with the force of a ram, the sickening groan of protesting wood, and splintered masts, a skeletal figure reaching for a sky obscured by churning black clouds. The deck tilts at alarming angles, sending you scrambling for any handhold those that have not attached themselves already, and time seems to lose all meaning in the relentless assault. Up becomes down, left becomes right, as the storm puppets the ship, tossing it about like a leaf in a hurricane. Below deck, the sounds of splintering wood and crashing cargo increase, and add a terrifying slam and explosion to the storm's current orchestral meaning. Rose continues to have her face of determination, just gripping. Fear is present, but it seems as though she has weathered many storms. And there is a slight tinge of fate being pushing and pulling towards the ship.
Do I have time to cast detect magic?
You may.
I would like to do that.
Okay. As you reach into your senses and pull the weave into your vision and perception, there doesn't seem to be any magic around, except for the various items that your compatriots carry themselves. There is nothing within the barrels on the ship, the wind, deep within the ocean as you're looking, as again you keep having to move your eyes as the salt begins to sting, but nothing seems to be overtly magical.
Okay.
Hours or perhaps minutes stretch into an eternity as each colossal wave feels like the last. The lurch of the ship is a portent of imminent doom. Then amidst this cacophony, there seems to be some type of new sound that pierces the air, and the ship rocks and stops with a harsh grinding that speaks of wood meeting rock. The ship shudders violently, thrown forward with sickening force, and you hear a collective scream from Rose and Alara as the world seems to tilt on its axis. Another crack as the force of the impact splinters the keel, and you see within the deck the wood itself giving way finally to the forces that split it. And with a sickening groan, the ship slews sideways, tilting at near impossible angle. Water rushes in, and a torrent of icy water threatens to sweep everyone overboard. As everyone clings desperately to whatever remains secure, there is a struggle against the waves as it begins to capsize and sink violently, moving back and forth. And a massive wave crashes over everyone. And those that only can breathe air feel the burn of the unexpected wave hitting and the lack of oxygen or breath they took before. And when you finally break the surface, there's a sputtering and gasping, and a horrifying sight greets you. The ship lies broken, submerged, and a jagged gash marking itself across its encounter with an unseen reef. And the storm rages on, while in the distance, there is a shadowy silhouette that seems to emerge from the waves. Something similar to a landmass. Something that beckons or calls to those that see it. I need everybody who cannot breathe water to go ahead and make a constitution check.
Save or check?
Save, thank you.
No problem.
Constitution save. There it is. Come on, big money, big money. Oh! Not 20.
Oh, damn, nice. Not 20. 8.
Oof.
Oh my god, no, Sal. No!
That was rough.
Oh no.
We aren't water folk.
This is not my area of expertise.
Do the barrels help at all?
I was gonna get to that. Depends on the save. Did you do yours, Flora?
Yes, it was 16.
Oh, it's up at the top. Sorry, didn't see that. Okay, 16, 5, 8, 2. Okay. So Flora and Snarf, you're able to kind of push yourself above, take a deep breath, and reach everything and use your body's endurance and strength to push forward out of these waves that are thrashing on every direction.
Can I use my
Miidyr,
chair as a surfboard?
you can use it as a boogie board, yes.
Yeah, I'd be like boogieing on my chair.
That's
Grabbing.
completely fine. Miidyr, Tsena, and Saul, or Sarloth, the waves themselves are proving to be more difficult to handle. As your heads dip below water and you struggle to keep the strength it takes to float, and you are now tossed beneath the waves themselves.
I'm gonna try and find a barrel.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Is the light still on my ear?
Yes.
Oh,
So 11. With the choppy water and you already having to hold your breath with limited air, barrels are the least of your worry as you're looking around as you are being tossed and pulled in undercurrents that you are unable to perceive which direction you're going to move next.
Is there anything that Snarf and I could do?
So you guys could possibly do perception checks to see if you can see these people. As you're looking around, you see nothing but Snarf and yourself. Everyone else seems to have been either under the waves or moved around in some other direction. But currently, as you're looking around, being able to hold your head above water, you only see Snarf, and Snarf only sees you.
Damn. Do we see any water coming
Where's
back down?
Rose and her kid?
Hmm?
Rose and her kid.
Rose and a kid you do not see.
All right. Then I'm going to look around, try to see if I can see Sarloth, because he's kind of tiny.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Nope.
Oh.
A nat 1.
No.
As you are looking around and attempting to try to view the water itself, while you are and have had many a storm, you have never experienced something like this. The amount of choppiness and movement that you are just able to keep yourself steady, you are unable to focus enough to use your vision and perception to actively look for anything. You are stuck trying to survive.
Can I cut the rope holding us and try to shove Saul towards the surface?
So pull.
Like push him up, because
You
we're
are
underwater, right?
Oh yes, yeah. So you can attempt to push it. Yeah, you can cut and push. That's fine. So you can cut. That's a free action. Pushing's going to be a strength check. With disadvantage. You were able to cut, and you just push Saul back, and as you force him up, you are forcing yourself deeper.
Oh.
So,
I know.
and you push yourself deeper down, and you see Saul kind of flopping around as he slowly starts to just get into the rhythm of whatever the currents are at that state. But he does move up towards the surface.
Am I able to like get in my bag while we're trying to like swim? To hand rope to Snarf, and then I like dive down under.
You can give me a Constitution check to see if you can. Well, no, strength check. Just go ahead and give me a strength check, or yeah, athletics if you have it. You can have that too. No save. It wouldn't be a
Oh,
save.
fine.
Hold on with
That's
all
fine.
of my might.
So it would just be a raw strength check if you don't have athletics. So 6, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. You're able to, as you swim over to Snarf, wrap the
Tie it to
rope
my
around
chair.
him,
Tie
tie
it
it,
to my chair.
and you dive down.
I'm hoping that they can see the light.
Oh, nice.
If they're underneath us still, I'm hoping that they can see the light. I'm going to try to dive down as best as I can.
Okay, so another athletics check to dive deeper. I need everyone who is underwater to go ahead and give me a perception check with disadvantage. DC is lowered because of the light on her ear. That's 20. Okay.
Ooh.
9, 11.
Oh man, the second one was an at 20.
Dang it,
Yeah, I know. I was
right.
like, damn.
Oh, dang
9,
it,
11.
on both of them. Dang it.
Senna, if you want to go ahead, because you are currently underwater as well.
I did. 17 was at the disadvantage.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought that was the original perception you made.
It's like-
17, Senna, you are able to, as you are writhing around underneath the waves themselves, you see a small glowing teal-like light that seems to be moving down. Everyone else, Sarloth and Miidyr, you are unable to focus enough to even see the light. The flashing of the lightning above, cascading and refracting underneath the waves. You see so many lights, it's hard to focus on what anything is.
Can I try to break the surface, get a breath, and go down after the light?
Breaking the surface? Yeah, go ahead and give me an athletics check. Yeah, you're able to finally push yourself, realize the current and where you're going, move your body in a way that allows you to push against it, and you go up and you take a breath. Saul, I need a Constitution save.
Yeah.
I'm just switching over,
Right.
and you were going to take a breath and dive down and go towards the light.
Yep.
Another athletics check.
Stay strong, brother man. Yeah.
And then Sarloth, I need a Constitution save.
Yep.
17. You start moving. Ooh, nice, nat 20. Hell yeah. Tsena, as you dive down and push yourself towards the light, you start swimming in as it starts to start to go a little bit deeper, and you get within about 10 feet, and you see that it is Flora that is diving in. And Flora, you kind of look up as a shadowy figure comes from the mist and the haze from the choppy water, and you see Tsena moving himself or swimming towards you.
Can I see Miidyr or Saul at all?
You can give a perception with disadvantage. Saul, you are able to. Your breath is thin, and we are moving into the period where you are half the breath that you normally would need. So Constitution is 1 minute. You have 30 seconds before you drown.
Okay.
That 20 allowed you to keep that extra 30 seconds.
I'm gonna attempt to swim to the surface.
Go ahead, give me an athletics check.
Come on.
I'm not a very athletic person.
I believe in you. Oh,
Damn.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank Jesus.
That was beautiful.
1d20 plus 0. Yeah, equals
By
20
your
plus 0.
powers combined, he is Captain.
Flora, as you're trying to look around, 10 feet is all you can see, and you see nothing but Tsena.
I reach out to grab Tsena, and we're going back up.
Okay.
So I'm going to do it again
Are
if I
you
can
are
get
you
him
pulling
up.
him, or are you just floating up?
Well, I don't know how much I could actually pull a full-grown.
What's your strength
Alcohol?
score?
It's 16.
Oh yeah, you could pull him easy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm just dragging him.
Okay. So Tsena, as you kick, and Flora, as you both kick, you guys go up to the surface and pull. Let me see here. Basura, what are you doing?
I'm going to, since I'm like on the surface and not seeing anything, I'm going to try to swim down as far as I can, then look up and see if I can see anybody moving or see any silhouettes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check with disadvantage as you're pulling yourself deeper, and the choppiness above in the waves and the light above that is refracting is hard to determine what it is. 23 is fine. 19. As you're looking around, you spot a conglomerate of what seems to be two bodies that are floating, probably, I would say, 40 or so feet away from the other people you see. You can make out Tsena kind of just from his form. You can make out Flora because of her light, and they're going towards the surface. You see Saul is being pushed further down north. The two bodies that you see that are away from the group are moving more towards the west and are being pushed deeper. And you can see Miidyr slowly struggling to try to figure out which way to go underneath the waves.
All right, I'm going to try to dash towards Miidyr and kind of grab them by the collar and pull them towards the other person that's struggling.
All right, go ahead and give me a athletics check. 20. Nice. You're able to grab Miidyr and you start pulling towards the other person that is struggling. Miidyr, as you are trying to figure out what to do next, you feel a tug and you look and you see the gleaming red scales that seem to be kind of almost purpled by the blue light that is filtering from the waves above. And they start moving towards, and you see Saul seeming actually holding their breath and acting relatively calm under the amount of pressure that they're under right now. And Basura grabs the collar of Saul and begins to push themselves upward and swim and push both of your heads above water.
All right, thanks.
As soon as we break surface, I'm going to cast Tensor's floating disc. So it can't move, but it'll be a solid platform that can hold up to 500 pounds 3 feet above the water.
Okay.
And I will climb my way up onto that solid platform.
I'm gonna give them a hand, kind of push them up onto the platform.
Okay. It's 3 feet in diameter, and okay, so 3 feet in diameter. So it's like one person, maybe two, could stand on it.
I will stand and help my my wife up on it.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
I will
So you-
not let her drown like Rose let Jack drown. All right, she can fit on this door.
There's enough room.
Is that a good idea with the waves?
It can't move. It literally cannot move while I'm 20 feet within
No, but we can.
it. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Hang on tight.
Yeah.
Have faith
I
in us,
guess
honey.
married couple doesn't mind being in each other's space, so it's fine.
So you jump on top of the disc and push yourself up, as you can see, as you both are able to kind of kneel and huddle and grab the edge of the disc as the waves are crashing into you. And then the wind is also pushing, so you're able to hold on and grip. As you look around, you can see Tsena and Flora themselves just as their heads are above water, kind of floating. The shine of the light from Flora's ear tip kind of giving a focus of direction of where everyone is. Snarf is just kind of floating around with his chair, kind of looking around, and whenever he sees somebody pop up, he helps. He grabs and pulls them up. And all of you take account for every one of your party, but there is no sign of Rose or her child.
This is why I don't leave the library, honey.
We can talk about it later. As I'm like coughing up and hacking up seawater.
And Saul, as you're looking towards the top of the clouds, or looking towards the underneath of the clouds, you can see hundreds, if not thousands, of Kylora that are dancing along the bottom of the clouds, and you can see their sparks of energy that seem to almost intensify the lightning that is striking into the sea itself. And there is a new kind of experience that Kylora themselves were never thought to have this synchronicity. Yes, they were able to predict storms, but now you see that they actually feed themselves off the storms. They follow, and it almost as though they can sense where the lightning is going to strike next. You can see these swaths or swarms of these Kyloran move towards a certain area, lightning strikes, and you can see the lightning spread itself across each body. And then they kind of wait and linger for a minute and then move to another part, and you can see the lightning strike again down into the sea, and the particles of this electricity kind of flow and river through each body of these Kyloran.
You know, this would be fascinating if it wasn't so terrifying right now.
Okay, this disc can't move, right?
Not exactly. Not while I'm within 20 feet of it.
So maybe we should get the others to get over here. We can kind of like lash them to the disc so we don't lose anybody.
Well, yes, that could be a smart plan, dear.
Midyr's gonna whistle and see if she can get their attention.
Yep, everybody's able to see each other and acknowledge each other. And so everyone kind of hears Midyr's high-pitched whistle that kind of cuts through the low rumbling of the noises that are flowing through everyone right now.
She'll start
I'm
swimming
gonna try
towards
to
you.
latch my chair on the disc.
So currently there's people on the disc. It'd be incredibly difficult. It's only 3 feet wide, so what you could probably do is, as they were trying to continue, is to wrap a rope around the disc itself in a way that it doesn't slip, and then attach that rope to whatever else other people have. So if you have a rope within your inventory, you could use your net. That's fine.
Yeah, I know I got that.
I comply.
It's storm dance music.
A net would be perfect.
Yeah, I got my
You
net.
drape the net over the disc, and then you hang on to the net.
Yeah.
Sides.
That way they can still stand on it and not be
Right.
obscured by it. Yeah.
And we can use some rope to secure it, just to make sure.
I'll cast a mage hand to help tie the rope.
Okay.
So as people kind of walk up, you'll see a little glowing hand that helps to tie your rope to the net that's been thrown over the disc.
I'm gonna tie that really good knot.
Let's go to Tsena. What are you doing?
I'm going to try to give Snarf a hand with this net, and then grab onto one side of it.
Put your finger there while I tie the knot.
I offer some lengths of rope so they can just tie themselves to it. You don't have to hang on as hard.
Okay.
My mage hand floats over and puts a finger where he pointed it to.
Nice.
So all of you currently are tied to this disc that is floating above the water. Basura, what are you doing?
I'm looking out around like the water, see if there's anything floating by, any kind of debris that we might be able to use.
There's plenty of wood that seems to be kind of shattered from the ship as it's still continuing to grind, and the pieces, or the larger pieces of the ship itself, are being destroyed by the reef underneath.
Is there any part of the reef that's actually like sticking up out of the water?
No, not currently.
Does anyone happen to know which way land might be?
I know which way north is.
Does anyone see Rose or her daughter?
No. I didn't see him down when I was down there either.
Uh-oh, Raggy. What's his name's gonna be sad? Rennick? No.
Can I try and make a perception check along the surface of the water? See if I see, not just debris, but see if I see anyone?
Yeah, you can go ahead and make it with disadvantage.
Yeah, I see so much.
Do I see any green blobs
It is
nearby?
so hard to find any sort of focus, let alone you're not really one of the sea. You haven't really been around the ocean that much, and this being chaotic at the very least, it is hard to make out shape. There's more than a dozen times you're like, oh, that's a shape, and then wait, what was that? What is what's and the water and the spray and the waves that keep crashing down upon you seem to just slowly eat away at your ability to hold your focus.
Sounds fair. I'm more worried about my husband.
I'm going to, seeing that my darling dearest wife failed to see anything, be exceedingly helpful and cast dancing lights. So it's slightly brighter now.
Nice.
Thank you, dear.
So four
Oh
little
my god, it's a
Four
full
little
moon
torch-
tonight.
torch lights appear around the unmovable disc that we're all lashed to.
Womp. As these lights kind of around and begin to illuminate the area around you, which only serves to solidify the amount of destruction and chaos the storm is having.
Is there any extra rope? Have we used it all?
I think I have some still.
Okay. So I'm gonna turn to my wife. How much rope do you have, dear? I need at least 21 feet. You got 22.
I should have about 20-ish feet, I'd say. Maybe.
I'm gonna pull the 50 feet of hempen rope out of my bag and hand it to him.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastic. Well, that's a start. And I will lash one end of the 50 feet to the net that's tied around the disc and the other end to me. Okay, this is a really, truly terrible idea. I will probably die, but I can make the disc move if anyone can point me in the right direction.
Oh, damn.
Like towards land?
Yeah, land, another boat, possibly, not death by water. Not an ideal situation I wanted to be in, dear.
Guide your group through frozen wastelands.
Are you gonna swim in front of the disc to pull it towards you?
I am going to desperately grab onto a barrel or a piece of wood, dear.
I know north is that way. Other than that, I don't know where the land's at.
This is a terrible idea. Unless,
Yes, thank you, Tsena.
Does anyone else have a better idea? Because otherwise we
Yes.
can't move currently.
How about
Right?
Basura goes with you and makes sure that you keep your head above water?
Well, that would be slightly better, yes.
If he's willing.
All right. Do we know what direction the shore is compared to north?
Snarf, go ahead and give me a survival check with advantage, since you know which way north is.
Oh, there it is. And roll. Oh, they're double fives. Crazy. That was the
You
same.
you are unable to really remember which way the shore was, but you know where north is.
I just remember being underwater. I don't even remember where the land was.
Oh, joy. Oh, this is going to suck.
If we don't know, don't do it.
Well, we can't very well stay out here, dear.
Which way did we come from?
Which way's
Early
north?
morning, sun will rise. In the west, it will fall. So that way is north. That way is east. That way is west. I just don't know where the land is.
We are definitely going to die out here.
You could always try to wait for the storm to pass.
We can pray to Vince McMahon handles. Maybe he'll come and save us.
We can try to wait, but have you noticed up there in the storm cloud, they seem to be feeding off the storm. I've never seen that
That's
before. It's entirely
their own
possible it's going
thing.
to make it worse.
How?
I don't know. This is newfound territory for me, dear.
What if when they eat it, it goes away?
Maybe.
I'm going to look up at the sky and see which way the clouds are coming in from the storm.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a you can give me survival or perception.
Oh,
They're both
mighty
pretty good.
Vince McMahon handles. The goat of the ring and the legend of the realms. Hear my call.
You're able to see the storm clouds themselves are more swirling upon the focal point of right above you. It seems to be as though this current scene and life that is around you is the reason for the storm itself.
Okay. When the storm was coming in,
Mm-hmm.
did I Can I tell which direction the storm was coming in from?
The storm was coming in from the north.
From the north. And looking at it then, no, I can't say that. I was about to say land is south because we saw the storm coming up on us. But that was after fight on the deck and not knowing which direction we were facing. So, never mind. I can't figure it out from that.
But the storm seems to have
I'm gonna
settled
try to-
over us.
From the, as Tsena kind of looks up and describes what's happening, the storm seems to be swirling around as though there's a whirlpool of clouds that are, the epicenter is above you all.
Do you
I'm gonna
think
kinda
maybe...
lower my head and kind of empty some coins out of my pocket into the ocean and be like, Tara, can you hear me? Please give us a
Yeah.
hand. Meaningfully.
You can go ahead and just roll me a d20 for that. $13. There is a brief moment where you hear that billowing voice and vibration within inside of your head, and the ocean itself on the inside of your mind, you see it calm, and you see a tidal wave of this red blood-like water that seems to be thick and coating the ocean itself as it slams into the ocean and seeps along, and changing the color from this teal blue to this deep crimson red. And the vision kind of slowly exits. And you get this feeling of you want this to happen. As though Tara is telling you, no, this is what needs to happen.
Basura, do you think the things that are causing, or the things that are beneath us swimming around, that they're causing this?
No, I'm pretty sure there's a pissed off god that wants to destroy everything.
Well,
That's
then
what's
maybe we
causing
should
this.
stop pissing off the gods. Doesn't seem very ideal.
Damn you, Vince McMahon handles. Leave us alone.
I
Did
only
someone
ask.
piss off a god recently?
I only ask because it seems to be focused on us. We're in the eye of it.
This does seem to be rather angry deity territory, from what I've read.
Then should we be offering up something as an apology?
Well, I don't exactly know what to offer, dear.
I
since we
offer
don't know
you
who
up the
pissed off-
first mate and her child. Please take them in honor and save us, please.
Flora,
Well, that's in rather poor taste, Snarf.
Maybe they don't know
Something.
that they were already dead.
How do you know they're dead?
It's a god.
They do tend to kind of know things.
Damn them. Damn
Don't
you.
piss her off more.
but Flora's, upon hearing what Snarf just said, Flora's whispering to herself, "Please, Lotus, I did not condone that. I did not condone that." Just take the check.
Basura, hearing all about the sacrificing and being very confused by the visions, he's gonna hook his legs into the net that's hanging down,
Mhm.
and then kind of pull up the sleeve on his left arm, grab his dagger and kind of cut like in the fleshy part of the arm, not where the veins are, but you know, the good bleedy area. It just kind of submerge it into the water.
Oh, that's a great idea. Let's summon the sharks.
An offering of blood?
I mean, at least sharks are understandable, unlike deities.
Don't worry, the sharks will
Deity
find
is
the
a
first
shark.
mate and their child first.
Snarf!
Oh,
Every conversation I've ever had with a shark has ended poorly.
Um,
We've had many conversations with sharks.
None at all.
Well, there's a first time for everything. I imagine it can't be much worse than our current situation.
how about don't ever say that? Don't. I just, you know, out of experience, don't ever say that phrase ever again.
well, he couldn't be as bad as the Shark 2 Shredder, that one guy that I wrestled back in Orokoshe Festival 2 years ago.
You know, 90% of the time when he talks, I have no idea what he's saying.
Does
I-
anybody?
I'm not sure it's common.
Whew.
Basura, as you cut and watch yourself underneath the water, and as you feel the pain of the blade slick across your skin and the blood dig deep into the ocean itself as it pours in, there seems to be almost a pulse. Kind of a guttural chant. And you find
Shark bait,
yourself
ooh-ah-ha.
shark bait, ooh ha ha, as you start to feel a language come through your voice that you've never spoken before, but is too familiar. And it seems you start to plea and challenge the storm itself. The storm, as if momentarily kind of stunned of the offering, falters. The wind slowly hesitates a bit, and there is a reddening of the sea beneath you all, as you see it spread underneath the disc and slowly overtake the ocean underneath.
Okay, what did you do? What?
Oh, don't go
oh my
down there.
goodness!
Basura?
Stop! Whatever it is that you're doing, stop.
But I mean, the storm is slightly better now, so
You
maybe...
weren't burned by the sun, were ya? I don't know.
This isn't natural, though,
Do we
either.
all need to give our blood?
Basura, you feel this chanting coming from thousands and thousands of voices that are focusing through you. And you grit your teeth. There's a pain of a dull ache that's gnawing this uncertainty. And the ropes from the net kind of dig into your flesh. And then there is a slight moment of hesitation as you kind of remember your life before. And there's a glimpse of an island and a small token of bone and blood that you can see yourself holding in between your hands. And there are whispers that seem to be surrounding you, and you start to smell the blood. And there is a silent plea amidst the storm's relentless war as your blood continues to flow and flow around you. Everyone else sees the redness slowly start to emanate deeper and deeper, and wherever it touches, the storm seems to abate. The waves become calm, And as everyone looks above, you can see an eye of a storm slowly opening around where this red blood begins to touch.
Sarloth, follow the red.
Okay.
The storm is following the red. That way we'll at least stay in the eye.
Yes, well, into the water I go.
I hope it's not a brown eye.
Oh, this is going to be terrible.
Just stick close to someone who knows how to swim.
Yes, well, as evidence from earlier, dear, not many of us know how to swim.
Do muscles float?
Right. I think
know.
Snarf did just fine, and so did
Hey,
Flora.
Yeah, I guess they float.
Chainmail is a hindrance, okay?
I will jump into the water with the rope around my waist.
Go ahead and give me with an athletics check.
Athletic, the most athletic one we got.
The eye is forming over us, but it's not moving, right?
It is wherever the red, which is going out. Oh god. Wherever the red is
Oh,
emanating,
God, he
it's
says.
circular. So it's a circular kind of spread. So the blood is not going in a particular direction, but more diffusing within the waves themselves.
it.
Sarloth, you jump in and immediately begin to drown. You are not good at swimming. You have no idea why you thought this was a good idea. You are not the one to be swimming in something like this. But as you dive into it and you start swimming, you just slowly begin to kind of start to flail.
When I see this, can I start to drag him back to the disc by the rope?
Yeah. Yep. And you pull and he comes and he grips onto the disc itself.
Going
Good
to,
idea.
in Dwarvish, be like, I told you this was a terrible idea.
What are you talking about?
You
Great
know
job.
I don't.
Full marks.
No.
Never again.
You chose this.
Well, I didn't see a much better idea, dear. And truthfully, I still don't see a better idea.
It seems like it is slowly abating as the red spreads, so I'm just worried about Basura running out of blood at this point.
Wow, you read my mind. Basura, I need a constitution check.
Yes, perhaps we should pull him out of the water sooner rather than later.
That's my thought. Give him the disc.
Basura, as you are feeling the blood leave your arm, there is almost as though a syringe or a sieve is feeding and pulling upon your blood on the inside of your body. You can feel it as though wires that are deep within your heart are being slowly yanked and pulled to the open wound you have caused yourself. You are down 10 permanent hit points until a long rest.
Do we see him floundering?
Who?
Basura.
Best. Yeah.
You guys actually technically don't see Basura except for kind of under the waves. He is underneath the disc, kind of with his feet attached into the net. And you can see that he is not moving, but his arms are up. And there is anybody who sticks their head under the water can hear this rhythmic pulsing chant that seems to be coming from him.
I don't like it. I want to pull him out of the water.
Yeah, I would like to assist. If I can notice, like, medicine-wise, he's lost a lot.
Yeah, I want to move off the disc beside him, grab him, and like try and shove him up onto the disc.
All right, so it would be a athletics check, just a raw one. It was disadvantage, but since Flora's giving help, that is going to be just a raw roll.
Nope.
As you go to try to pull, you feel along Basura's skin, and the scales of their skin seem to be sharp and protruding. And as you go to grab it, there is, as you repulse your hand, you see that there are tiny pinpricks and lacerations as your own blood begins to slowly pool into his and slowly pulling out, adding into the redness that is surrounding the area now. And by now, I'd probably say the redness itself is good 15, I'll say 20 feet in radius, so 40 in diameter, that is slowly expanding.
Hey, Snarf, mind giving us a hand here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go give them a hand.
Okay. Who is going to roll? Whoever's roll is going to do a flat roll
I will
with athletics.
move.
I'll roll.
Go
Okay.
for it.
That was a 21.
Sorry, guys, I'm in bullshit mode.
Flora, as you go to grab and pull, that same kind of feeling of the pinpricks of the lacerations within your hand, as your essence begins to slowly fill into the area around, you grab and you pull Basura up. Basura, you feel as though something is stopping you from your potential. Something is pulling you away from this calling of these thousands of voices that are speaking through you. These chants and the blood and the crimson and the tide that is flowing out from you as you feel your body be removed from the water and your consciousness returns back into your body, and you can see your party around you looking at you, and Miidyr is tending to her wounds that are not healing. Flora, you're same on your hands. They are not seeming to heal. Basura, you are on a disc with Miidyr, and Sarloth is kind of hanging off on the edge, kind of wrapping himself towards the side, gripping onto the net and the rope that is around. And Basura, as you look around, you don't recognize who you were underneath there. But you can see the evidence of what has happened as the blood and the redness of the water around begins to stop growing and slowly recede as the eye above begins to collapse.
I think now might be a good time to move towards the island again, dear.
I guess it's blood for the blood
What
god.
island?
Right.
Blood for the blood god.
Can I try to see if I can locate any landmass and perhaps pull?
You do remember that during the ship being crashed, and the fact that Snarf knew that it was north, there was some sort of shadow of a landmass to the north.
To the north.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sarloth, will this disc move if I pull it?
No, the disc will only move if I'm at least 20 feet away from it.
So if we lash you to the disc and then have someone pull you, it would pull the
Because
disc?
the disc would still be within 20 feet of him. You want to hop on my back? Come with me?
Yes. I suppose that's the better of the options as opposed to me swimming. That didn't end so well last time.
All right, I'm going to try and swim with Sarloth to the north.
Okay. Go give me an athletics with disadvantage. Nice. Yeah, you are able to start to, as Sarloth is kind of grabbing onto you tightly, you are able to push through and start to swim against all of this force from the ocean itself, and are able to start heading north. Everyone else is kind of attaching themselves to the disc, and as Tsena and Sarloth go 20 feet, the disc slowly begins to move back towards, and as Tsena is able to kind of keep a pace of where the disc itself is in a constant state of movement. It's not fast, but it's enough to keep everything in a constant state of movement, and everyone that's attached to it is able to glide along with it.
I'm gonna make sure that Basura is like attached to the top of it, and then I'm gonna actually drop to the side.
Okay,
So
Basura,
he has some
do you allow
space
that?
up there.
Like, are you just checking to see if I'm on it, or are you like trying to tie me to the?
I'm like trying to secure you just in case we hit the storm again, but not like trying to bind you to it.
I'm gonna kind of pat her hands away, be like, "I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." And then I'm gonna look over at Flora and be like, "Can you fix this?" And I'm gonna point at the gash on my arm.
I can use medicine check. I don't have any other means right now.
Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
Wow,
Oh,
good one here. 5. I did roll
This-
a 22 before.
As you're looking at the wound itself, as you're looking, it's almost as if the blood is being pulled from the tissues, not from the bleeding or the vessels or the veins. It's as if it is being ripped from everything that is part of Basura that is living. This isn't a normal biological thing. This is something deeper.
I would suggest keeping your arm elevated.
What if we just stitch it up?
And maybe ask your god to let you have a break. I'm not really sure. It's not good, friend. It's not looking good. I've not been known for bedside manners.
Gonna
sometimes.
weakly kind of give her a thumbs up.
If you can make your way out to me, I can help.
I feel like if I go in the water, I'm gonna zone out again.
Yeah,
That's-
keeping him dry is probably the
That's
best
a good idea.
Yeah, he probably shouldn't leave the disc currently.
Well, let's try to get to that island as quick as possible.
And as the party begins to focus on their goal, Tsena and Sarloth leading the way through the waves that are crashing and pulling, Basura having a almost divine-like reaction to being their blood entering the water and having a meditative-like state. Saul almost drowning. Flora struggling to keep track of everybody that is under her ward. Miidyr fearing that maybe this amount of field work wasn't the best of choices for Sarloth. The party continues on north towards a shadowy-like island. And we will take our first break.
Woohoo!
All right, let's go ahead and get right back into it. The party currently is having Tsena and Saul lead the Tensor's disc along the waves as everyone else is attached to the disc. Tsena is moving north through the waves towards a shadowy like landmass that they had seen before the tragic end to the ship that they were on. Starting this, I'm going to go ahead and have Tsena make a athletics check.
I'm gonna do my best to not flail around as my method of helping him.
Okay, I'm going to need another athletics check, Tsena. Just doing a cumulative check.
Will I have the ability to use a bardic inspiration or a guidance?
You can use either. That's fine. You can use guidance probably because that doesn't cost anything.
Do it.
I'll spend the guidance.
What is it?
So, athletics, and then a
Ooh,
Okay.
nice one.
Nice.
Need 2 more for a total of 4. So 26.
More.
Oh,
7. And 12. You can roll 2 guidance
Okay.
roll it.
For each
roll it,
one.
Roll it, roll it.
Technically 3 because your first athletics didn't have a guidance either. So
That's not bad.
13,
Good guidance.
10, and 14. Okay. As you're pushing your way through the waves, you are not used to water. You are used to underground. You are used to city life. And you pushing through this water, there is a lot of correlation between your life and the Orzhov of you going against the current and struggles that have pushed against you. You have actually rised and has become something of a legend, as it were, for lack of a better term, in carving your way through things. You are able to convince people, get them to tell you what they want, as well as provide for the Orzhov themselves, which is why you were giving the title of the Taxman. And as you're carving through these waves, your only focus is the words and the intrusion into your mind as you saw the promenade and the parade moving through that main street of Nylora outside of the cafe. That you need to provide. There is something that is still kind of pulling at the back of your mind saying, they're right. I am not doing my job correctly. I have yet to provide anything to the Orzhov in these past couple of weeks. But as the current point of survival and station that you have been elected yourself to, of leading this group in this storm, that overrides that currently. But there is still this juxtaposition of things that are slowly becoming connected within your mind. And you force yourself through these waves. And the storm's fury seems to kind of intensify, and you see beyond you a shore that comes out from the intense rain and downpour. Basura, I need a... Never mind. I will let him know when he gets back. Basura, perception check, if you could, please. And you start to pull forth stronger and hard, and you hear every now and then Sarloth kind of, dear God, No, fieldwork was not for me. Oh, Miidyr, I love her. Yes, the tea. She took my tea. No, but it's okay. It's okay. We're here. I'm experiencing. Everything's fine.
I really loved that tea.
18. Basura, as you are approaching, you grip the wound in your arm tighter as the blood seems to almost pump itself through the gaps in your fingers. And you look toward the island and you have a sense of recognition. This is the island that you awoke upon. The one where you received the vision of a sharked deity telling you that this is not the life that you lead now. And a body that you need shall be provided.
I'm
There's
gonna
a-
maniacally laugh while shaking my head.
Okay, so Basura's lost his mind. Blood loss, terrible thing.
He's waterlogged.
Let's get him on that island and get him patched up.
I don't know. Would that be safe if he's gone crazy?
Well, I mean,
What's the alternative?
It's
Always
better than
knock
being
him out
stuck in
with
Fair
the
the
enough.
chair.
ocean,
Fair
dear.
enough. Well, it seems to like the ocean. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, the little water boy, he liked the ocean, but sometimes them water boys gotta get up out of that water.
You're right, Snarf.
Well said,
Oh,
Snarf.
fount of wisdom. So true.
As Tsena pulls along, you reach the shore, and the wind seems a banshee wailing that echoes throughout a dense canopy upon the midland. The gnarled trees and the jagged black rock take on a chilling familiarity for you, Basura. As the disc itself reaches the shore, Tsena climbs up and is able to stand with water at waist. Saul still gripping the back of Tsena with a death-like grip around. Everyone
Loser.
are able to
Yes,
stand.
sorry.
The sand beneath your feet feels loose and broken. The sand being of a black-like substance that seems to slowly cascade into the sea as small molecules and minutia of sand drips endlessly into the shore itself as waves or pull come onto shore and grip and dig deep into the sand. Basura, as you step onto the island, a wave of memories wash over you. Memories of pain, hunger, and a desperate fight to keep oneself alive. And as you look along the edges of the beach, you can pinpoint the place that your blue skin, pallid and lifeless, felt that searing pain of transformation. The feeling of your very essence being ripped and remade into Tara's will. As you come out of the water, you slightly push these memories aside, kind of trying to focus on the present, as you look back to your companions and feel this innate need to protect them, because there is a underlying current of this chanting and this pulse of the potential dangers of what this island represents.
Can we say while I was on the island before, I'd made like a little hammock, like between two trees?
Oh, I have a bunch of stuff that's been on that island. Yeah, that's completely fine. I actually had like a little makeshift dwelling that you made that will trigger another memory. So yeah, that's completely fine.
All right, I'm gonna stumble towards La Casa Basura.
I'm going to try to intercept him and get my hands on that arm.
I'm gonna move to my husband to make sure he's okay and away from the water.
I'm going to remain vigilant. Of any signs of danger, I'm just going to kind of be on guard. I don't know where this island is.
All right.
There could be
so
wrestlers here.
in the order of
There
importance,
could be.
I need
There definitely
Snarf
could be.
to go ahead and make a perception check. I need Basura to give me a wisdom save as you feel a presence that is kind of moving towards you in a quick manner and towards an injury, which you are not. This island is bringing back survival memories. Wisdom save 18. Okay. Snarf perception. Miidyr, as you bring Saul closer to you, you feel his breath heavy and deep and struggling. The physicality of the encounter that has just happened is tolling. There is no diminish in his life or his wanting to continue, but there is a slight feeling of, how can I continue along this path if this is what we're going to have? I'm not ready for this. I have studied many things, and this is not one of them. And as you clutch him, there is an almost innate and primal pull closer to you, as though the comfort of your breast and your grip is beyond what is being presented, as though this is why I continue. And there is a slight connection, as though there is some sort of primal pull and life force that are connecting you together.
No.
I just
more
hold on to him tight.
Field work, dear.
I honestly wouldn't have done this if I knew it would get this bad. I'm sorry. I am truly, truly sorry.
Well, I suppose it's not the worst adventure I've ever been on.
And hopefully it will be just a distant memory soon.
Well, at least we're back on land.
Yes, let's get away from the waves a lot. Let move towards the trees would be great.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll get up and start walking towards trees.
My dear, I need you to make a Constitution save, please.
I'm also going to stop casting the floating thingamajigger.
Okay. Miidyr, as you move onto the shore where there is solid land and you had been on rocky, moving ocean, your stomach feels churning and unlike anything you've ever felt, and you fall down and expel its contents, vomiting onto the sand, bile and salt water.
I am gonna rush to my wife.
Ew.
Are you okay over there?
Ew.
I'm gonna yell back. It's okay. The crabs will take care of it.
Not my concern currently, but thank you.
Flora,
Hi.
this is completely out of your area. You have been in a state of mostly control of your surroundings, at least asserting some sort of control and deciding how things are going to go. Your arrival upon this shore and this beach, as you step into the water and feel that splash and that soak of your skin trying to push and pull the salt away, but being able to not hold that in. The pads of your feet being almost pruned as you step out and shake yourself, and your fur stands up in spikes of various fluid levels. And you look around at your party mates, and you see Basura making their way confidently along the shore. Miidyr and Sarloth being more connected and intertwined and concerned. Snarf is kind of going along with this as though, you know, this adventure had been something I wanted. This is where I wanted to be. And kind of trying to make the best of it. And you see Tsena looking back at the ocean and taking a long glance and turning back towards the shore.
I'm gonna pat Tsena on the hand and then kind of like hobble on over to Miidyr and check on them. And I'm gonna follow Basura because he seems like he knows where he's going, and if I can maybe find a spot to get a fire going, figure out some way to get like soup or something happening to get some warmth in our bones, that's what Flora's gonna focus on, because that is what she can control, is if she can get everybody a little bit healthier.
I'm like Captain Jack walking and like kind of calling out to like random trees that I've named.
I got a jar of dirt.
Why is all the rum gone?
Yes, but why is the rum gone?
Basura,
That
as
was
you
great.
are
Love that.
jumping onto this island, there is a sense of madness almost. A sense of, I have lived here. I have experienced a shift of shelf, a almost profound understanding. As when you had been here originally, it was a negative connotation. You had been drifted here, cast upon the ocean from your shipmates originally, and here being awoken. And now it seems, I have returned. I know this. This is something I have experienced. And there is a slight pause as you hear that low hum and chanting that you had underneath the water. And this is, I have to show it to everyone, but this is what Basura, you hear within you as these chants are turned into words.
And we can all hear this.
I'll allow it. Yeah, that's fine. Everyone can hear as Basura begins to unknowingly repeat this in common. As he's walking along, counting and touching the trees that were his friends of past. The people that he depended upon for his psyche's sake.
I don't like the sound of that.
It does sound less than ideal.
think Basura's planning on destroying the world?
Well,
Not intentionally.
I suppose that must count for something.
His meter's all off, too. You really should have consulted a poet.
I don't know. It sounds nice, though.
I've heard worse.
I'm gonna try and take a look at
It doesn't
Basura's
sound
arm.
You know, I can add hit dice to your next encounter if y'all want. I mean, you know, that's okay.
Yeah.
If y'all wanna critique, that's fine. Go ahead, please.
It needs more cowbell.
Ah, you
Oh,
no,
she
that
had
is
to.
correct.
She
it
had
does.
to.
That is very true. It does need more cowbell. I'll agree with that.
I said one thing I was missing is that damn cowbell.
Mm-hmm.
I was just waiting for the Undertaker to show up.
What was his name in this world?
The Pit Digger.
The Pit Digger.
Oh god, I love him.
Oh, I think I hear the ice cream truck outside.
And as you are watching Basura walk through, it's almost as if he is knowing what path to take. There are no created trails, and each tree or plant that he touches and names have no discerning marks on them other than the attributations of personification he has applied to them. And it is as though he is greeting welcomed and known friends. Occasionally he'll look back and see that some of you are following, and there is a almost clown-like grin as he sees you all, and he moves forward to keep reconnecting with the forces and the life that he had while he was here.
Can I do an insight check on his state of mind?
Yes.
See if he seems to be himself.
I'm going to turn to Miidyr, and I believe he's gone quite mad.
No, really? You think so?
I wonder if the sunburn's getting to him.
He was always
Sunburn.
hard to read.
Yeah, Tsena, as you're trying to glean what is happening within the mind of this creature that you have just met 24 hours ago, roughly. They are different than they are, but they are the same that they've always been.
What a strange individual.
I mean, we all have gone through a pretty traumatic moment in time, so it could just be something along those lines.
I suppose that's fair.
Basura, as you're walking along and touching these trees and greeting them as though friends, there is another kind of pull towards your perception. And you see upon this island no longer trees nor sand, but created and built structures. There are many a stone pyramid and dwellings that have been put upon here. And it seems a civilization once thrived here. A people who worshipped the ocean with fervent and forced devotion. It's almost as though a lens has been placed over your eyes, and the original dwelling and purpose of you being here was only to return here at some point. And you can see magnificent temples and people who resemble Tritons but with red skin, etching these strange and beautiful pictures and patterns as they are slowly building up into these structures and buildings. It's almost as if a time warp is happening where you can see the beginning of where this area was of trees and dense foliage to these people's manipulating, constructing, and forging this structure. But then there is a change as you're walking and touching and feeling the trees bark against your skin, slowly abrading the softness that has created from your living along the shore and outside of the ocean. And there's an abrasiveness to it. And as you begin to feel that, you see that the people that have built these things turn to arrogance, as though they knew or controlled that which they summoned. As though the very tides were theirs. And using forbidden rituals to manipulate the ocean's currents was their own. And their hubris angered Tara. And she unleashed a devastating storm upon this island. And the once proud civilization was swallowed by a wave of monstrous proportion, with their temples reduced to ruins, a testament to their folly. And as you walk through this sand-ridden memory, those that follow you continue their conversation of understanding and wonder.
I'm gonna look back at Flora and kind of like under my breath, I'm just gonna say, I didn't lose my mind out here. I found my madness. And then continue walking.
Yes, because that's so much better.
Boy, howdy, I got weird friends.
He's absolutely crazy, dear.
But at least we have friends, right, Snarf?
That's right. That's Basura, my friend.
Yeah.
He's just acting a little crazy.
A little might be an
sometimes that happens.
understatement.
Well, I feel like maybe like a wave destroyed his whole house and everything.
I feel like a god might have
Yeah.
destroyed his mind. Anyway,
DM, when we were swimming up on this island, was it obviously an island, or was that an assumption and it could possibly have been just a big jut from an archipelago?
The perception that you had at that time was an island. There
Okay.
didn't seem to be anything beyond the perception or peripherals along that.
Right.
Further investigation could prove that different, but currently it
Alright,
seems to be
so-
an island.
So Tsena is under the assumption that it's an island.
Yes.
We really have to figure out how we're going to get off of this place. And so far, the only person who seems to know where we stand is wandering over there.
Danny's gotten off the island before, so he knows how to do it.
Well, I think he's completely off the reservation.
I don't think he's even near the reservation anymore at this point, but
There's no reservations on this island. It's first come, first serve.
First come,
Uh,
yeah. I heard
don't-
that coming.
We don't have a lot of other options, so following the crazy man may be our best and only choice.
Sounds good to me. I mean, this adventure, holy cow, what would I ever would have thought?
You are vastly more intelligent than I, Sarloth. I am sure of this. However, I think it's flawed logic to say that following a crazy man is better than doing nothing.
Yes, well, I'm not one to want more adventure, but I don't really see an alternative currently.
And it seems that he's been here before.
Very true.
Is the sun visible in the sky? Do we know approximately what time it is?
Go ahead and give me a survival check.
Can I help with
Is
that?
it still raining?
You may. It is still raining. It's not a storm. It is a
Oh, that's terrible.
nice tropical rain.
Oh, oh balls.
Oh, so a 7
Oh,
and a nat
no.
1.
Oh balls.
Oh, that's rough.
You are on an island.
Well, whenever morning is, there'll probably be fishermen out. Maybe we can be rescued if we have a good fire by morning.
Can I look at my hand that was injured when I grabbed
Yes.
Basura? Is it still bleeding?
Yes.
I'm gonna keep the light on my ear.
Yep, I'll allow that. That's
I'm
completely
gonna
fine.
attempt to bandage my hand.
All right, go ahead and give me a medicine check. Saul,
Yo.
as you're looking into the water, there's a moment of stillness and this isn't water. You have watched water. You have known beasts that dwell within these depths. This water itself is more of a built up and forced prison of the weave to contain and to keep things from getting out.
I don't believe rescue's going to be possible from this island.
Well, it's just a little bit of rain. That can't hurt us.
It's not the rain that's concerning.
Oh.
Say what it is, love.
There are strange magical energies floating throughout this water. It appears
Magical?
designed purposely to keep something in.
Well, then we don't want to be here.
I don't disagree
Correct.
with you, but I imagine that whatever is designed to keep something in will also prevent other things from getting in that aren't meant to.
Miidyr,
think-
Yes?
your wounds are not natural. And though they are slowly bleeding, if you do not find a way to keep those vessels from leaking, there is going to be some sort of detriment to your health. And as you apply your bandage and wrap, it soaks relatively quickly within 2 minutes. And you pull the bandage off, reapply, and it continues along the same path.
Miidyr, if you could
Oh,
step this way, please.
You want to try my
right.
WWF wrestling belt? It's made of pure leather.
I'm gonna try lay on hands for a point to see if I can close them up.
Okay, that's completely fine. As you reach into your holy symbol and feel Menda, and you grab hold of her hand, Miidyr, your hand is clasped with a cold warmness. It is one that is almost antithetical to what it's trying to do. It wants to heal, but there seems to be a power that is coming from elsewhere. And
That's
as you,
preventing.
yeah, and as you feel the warmth, you can feel the skin and the fibers connect, and you are no longer bleeding.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Was anybody else hurt?
Flora grabbed him too.
I can do. I lay on hands myself, but I do try to catch up to Basura. I try to catch up to Basura to do a lay on hands for 1 point.
Mom!
Basura, as you're walking through this intense memory fog, there is no point at which you feel unsafe or hurt. And only when your perception and vision can kind of pull itself away, which seems almost a reaction, something it's trying to do. The wound upon your shoulder that you had cut is actively pouring blood. And you feel the warmth slowly fade as you're on this island, because the cold of the ocean made you aware of this blood. But as you're on this island, the temperature and the humidity seems to push your focus away from that. The blood is fine. The blood is needed. And you feel, again, Flora's hand kind of slowly push themselves and cautiously against the back and say, "Hey!" And as you look around, you see a soft, white Herangon with deep blue eyes look up at you and then look down at your wound.
Lass, I don't know if it's gonna help, but I kind of feel like we need it.
I try to do lay on hands. However,
All right.
if I can try to get it to stop. I feel like we should try to at least heal you a little bit. Maybe we can bleed you later. You know, you should probably at least heal up a little bit.
We'll kill you at another time.
And maybe
Bloodletting is never right.
Well, I mean, there are certain circumstances.
does it have to be your blood?
I feel like my blood is connected with this, and it's needed for this.
Okay, so we learned something in Paladin school that if somebody does not want to be assisted, we just wait for them to go unconscious, and if there's no do not resuscitate, then we can perform the things that we need to.
Free
so
game. That's
when you
right.
pass out, I'm going to take care of you.
First
That
come,
does-
first serve.
Very
does
well,
sound
you
tough.
have my consent.
Wonderful.
You feel these soft, fur-lined hands grasp your arm and move carefully and slowly up to the wound. As the magic and divine energy of nature itself begins to flow into it, there is a memory that triggers. And you find yourself, Basura, again on this island, though the first time. And it felt as though days bled into weeks. And you grew weaker. And the transformation as you watched your gray-blue scales slowly form into this red, virus-like appendages that slowly pumped and moved with strange sea-like efficiency. And as you lay shivering under a makeshift shelter that you created yourself, again another vision. And you found yourself suspended within a vast crimson sea, and a colossal figure arose from its depths. And you know them as Tara. And her voice, a roar, echoed through your very being. And you felt a surge of power, a connection to the crimson and the blood and the red water that flowed beneath you. And you saw the entirety of Illustra drowned in this red sea and tide. And when you awoke, the storm was gone. And your once blue and vibrant connection to this colorful sea was now a vibrant coral red and a permanent mark of your transformation. You weren't just reborn. You were remade as Tara wanted you to be. A harbinger of destruction. And your consciousness filters back in as you look down upon your arm, and a scar forms across where you had cut yourself, and you see again that innocent and sweet face of a Herangon of white fur and blue eyes looking up at you.
Unintentionally, with my buddy hand that I was using to staunch the flow, I was going to lightly pat her on the forehead, say thank you, and turn around and start walking towards the shelter.
Can I ask where you're taking us?
Home.
Okay, is there a fire pit there and a pot? I think I got the pot, though.
Yeah, how about some soup? Is there soup there?
There's coconuts and mangoes.
I can work with that.
Wait, home?
You know where we are?
Let's get there first and then talk about it.
Alright, as long as it's safe.
You
Well, I
hear
mean-
that song he was singing a little bit ago about the Tara
Yeah.
coming back to cast a wave on us and destroying everything?
That did seem less than ideal.
Yeah, I remember
Nope.
something about that.
This place feels very oppressive. Maybe we should keep our eyes on him at home.
Yes, I agree.
Am I getting that same feeling from this island?
In what way?
Looking around, do I feel uncomfortable?
No. There is no sense of wanting to cause someone to feel bad, I guess, in a very basic term. There is a sense of purpose and drive, and there is a feeling of those that are here need to be here.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm just gonna follow Basura. Drag Saul with me.
I'll be on my guard, but I will follow them. I'm gonna be ready for anything weird to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Deeper
And-
into madness we go.
Yeah, every 6 seconds I will prestidigitate somebody else dry.
All right.
Boy, he sure was moist. Now he's a little dry.
As you slowly move along where Basura leads you, there is a shift in his walking, and while he has been touching various flora and calling them by a language unknown to anyone. There is a feel of familiarity to you, Basura, as though you have been here for years. Though your memory tells you that you washed ashore and were given a charge by some shark-like being. But the closer you get to where you are heading, there is more bones that show of fish and of small animals. And as you look upon them, your stomach seems to shrink and move and gurgle, as though you remember the hunger and the pangs of not having food when you arrived here. And as you wrestle with the memories of trying to be living and surviving, there is a clearing ahead of the trees, and you push away the branches that have grown since. And go ahead and give me a nature or an insight check. You realize that these branches are decades old. Older than what you believed yourself to be here for. Yeah. You saw and cut and macheted through this not a few months ago, a year ago at least, at the very most. But the growth of this would have been decades. And as you move into the clearing, you see your makeshift structure of cut down saplings, of wrapped, created sinew from the animals that you have slowly butchered. And it seems to be a small hut of a dwelling, a single entrance, and wood and logs of trees from the area. Stumps, as you're looking around, seem to have been cut at the very base that they could have from crude tools. As you can see, splinters and wood from the stumps coming up in various ways. There's also a few places where it looks like that they had tried and was angered and had done the best they could for the ripping and tearing and the structures of the wood fibers themselves being torn and rotted in a way in pulling towards a direction, as though they had picked up the tree and had given anything they could to make sure that it had removed itself and given its bounty to them. And above the door, Basura, you see the same bone-like amulet that you had received during your vision on the ship, hanging above the door on a withered piece of leather, and each tooth is stained a crimson, almost as a reminder to the sacrifices you had to make. And each step that you take within this clearing pulls and tugs at who you think you are.
I'm gonna look back with the fakest smile I can do and say, "Welcome to Casa Basura." And then when I get to the entryway, I'm gonna reach up and grab the talisman.
And as you grab it, there's a surge of power, a dark echo of desperation. Almost as though this necklace represents the deepest and most terrible things you had to do to survive. But there's a small, deep connection into who you are and who you think yourself to be. And a question poses itself. Will you amplify its destructive power? Or can it be used to channel and be forged into what you feel is good? And you grasp it and slowly, almost intuitively, place it around your neck.
Well, that looks good on you.
It really brings out your scales.
You have just such a lovely home.
Interesting.
I'm more concerned about how we leave this home.
What was that?
We have to get back to land, and I have no idea who's got a plan for that.
Not I.
As you all entered into the dwelling itself, the wood, almost as though a log cabin, and clay has been used to cinch and forge the dwelling. Inside seems to be a meager dwelling of a small place to sleep, seemed to be made from the dried leaves of the flora around. And Basura kind of walks in and goes to the center. And on the walls you see sketched small symbols of various origins, weathered carvings, and I need Saul to give me a history or arcana check.
Okie dokie.
Is there a somewhat makeshift kitchen, or
All that is within this small room that you see, which is the only thing of this dwelling, is a place of sleep.
Bedroom.
Saul, as you start to look at these carvings and see the shapes and the characters, these are old, ancient, one would say. You have brief, if not shallow, understanding of what these came from. But you do know through your studies at the academy that these are from the Emberborn, those that originally were created from the deities, the firstborn, the elves, the humans, the dwarves. These symbols are the first language. Ones that would deviate and develop into the languages you know today. And it is a almost picturesque view of the limited knowledge that you have in the academic world of what are these symbols. The very few that exist are within destroyed ruins and broken reliefs and pictographs and books and other things that people have interpreted. These seem pure and almost taken from those that had designed this. They are perfect in their development of these characters. You can see that it's as though someone who was an Emberborn and understood these languages and this presentation of this language was here.
Fascinating. I'll walk up to Basura and did you write this? I've never seen an example so clear.
An example of what?
Looks like gibberish.
Yeah.
This is no gibberish. This is the oldest recorded language. This is as close as you can get to speaking to the gods.
Does it tell how Basura got burned by the sun?
Well, I can't read it. No one can, as far as I know. They've died out. Gods know how long ago.
Interesting.
He's also red, so there's a lot about him that doesn't seem to be right.
Yes.
By our standards or just in general?
In general.
I will immediately sit down in the middle of the hut and pull out what I assume is a slightly damp journal and start sketching these as accurately as I can.
As you pull out your journal, it's dry.
I'll log that away for stuff to question later.
While he's
Maybe you magicked it and forgot?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Flora's going outside to try to find a good spot to do a little campfire to set something up, maybe tea or something.
I'll go with Flora to help.
Yes,
I don't know history stuff.
Good. Yes, dear. I'll be fine.
You seem engrossed, so I know to leave you alone.
Yes. It is gross here. Yes.
All right. So we have Basura, Tsena, and Snarf. What would you all like to do? We'll start with Basura.
I am exhausted. And I've had a lot of emotional stuff happening. So I'm going to circle 3 or 4 times and then just lay down and pass out.
As you go to lay down into the small makeshift bed in the corner, the only real feature of this dwelling, there's a comfort. There's a memory and a connection to this. And as you slowly lay down on your right side and tuck your arms in and lay your head down, it's almost as though it was made for you, or you had spent millennia creating the dents and the body forms upon this foliage to accept the pressures that you put upon it. And quickly sleep comes.
Is he snoring?
Snarf?
Yeah, I'm be like, I think we tuckered him out. And then
it's been a taxing day.
Yeah. I remember someone saying something about probing his brain when he was out or something like that. Maybe I'll see if I can get him to sleep talk.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. You know, I
What-
hear the mind is more receptive if you put their hand in warm water while they're asleep.
I'm gonna go
Whatever you
find
do, if you could just do it slightly quietly. This is a difficult script to understand.
I'm gonna go find some warm water. Maybe Flora's got some soup going or something.
Tsena?
I was going to speak with Basura, but after seeing him be as tired as he is, I'll save it for morning. Instead, I'll just start oiling down my weapon and armor, strip out, and start recuperating from being waterlogged.
As you feel the water push and pull away from the stresses of your clothing as they absorb the saturation limit they're able to, there seems to be some sort of connection to that. When one is filled, what can one give? When one is saturated, where does the excess go? And you look around upon your compatriots, Basura sleeping upon the floor that they have created, Flora and Miidyr leaving the dwelling, Snarf following them soon after, and Sarloth slowly but vigilantly looking at the writing upon the wall. And the moment and contemplation of these intertwining destinies and perceptions begin to question and force your hand in a strange but wanted way. Who are you? What are you? And as you pull off your boots, and you take off your backpack, and your jacket, and each soaked with water, you feel a slow but satisfying lift from the weight that you didn't realize you carried, almost as though you were accustomed to it. And each wet and saturated thing that you pull off, there's a look to the people that are around you, and you realize maybe these could be home.
I'm going
Miidyr
to
and
go to sleep.
you find a comfy corner or piece of floor that seems relatively okay, and you lay down your head. And you kind of stare at the outside, the exit to this small, confined dwelling, and wonder, what's there? Miidyr and Flora. Flora exits quickly, Miidyr following. Flora, you find a spot to create a fire relatively easily. It seems that this place has been cleared. And you set up it, get it started quickly, and are able to give some of your cooking equipment what it needs. and Miidyr kind of follows.
I'm
Pulls
giving
up-
her instructions.
I try to help however I can. I really shouldn't cook, but I can help at least with the fire part.
With Flora, all things are possible. You'll be able to cook. She'll guide you through it.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, Miidyr,
Fair
I
enough.
need you to go ahead and let's see here, cooking, wisdom check. Go ahead and give me a wisdom with advantage.
Oh god, with
Yeah,
advantage.
cooking is
Okay.
wisdom. Yeah,
Hell
but
yeah.
Advantage.
Flora is guiding you, so
This is just a flat check, not a saving throw. So
no, it's just a wisdom check with
Yeah, it
advantage.
depends on what you actually cook.
I mean, that's fair.
6 and
but
14.
with advantage, 14.
Yeah, no, with advantage. Flora is surprisingly gentle and instructive. You make a few mistakes, but she doesn't scold you. She gently says, "Okay,
We usually don't put salt in our honey, but
exactly. We don't normally do that. How I would do this, and if this is what you would like to do in order to make sure that we create the thing that I am creating, this is what you would do. If you want to
Oh, that's
create
great.
something with salt in the honey, please try it. Figure it out. I would love to figure out that recipe. But currently, I think the recipe that we are creating should be sans salt.
Oh,
or at least
okay.
just a pinch.
Right, a pinch. Miidyr is not used to this kind of reaction to a mistake, really. So she's kind of like unsure where to step here, but she's following instruction.
And don't forget to breathe.
Right, breathing.
It's important. It's okay.
Sometimes.
It's- Cooking can be very relaxing. You just have to remember to breathe.
You find this relaxing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess.
I pull out one of my my baked goods. Is it like soggy?
No, these are. I will consider, at least for a DM's determination, that your goods are slightly magical. So they will continue to be goods as they are, unless they are magically changed.
Okay. I split one with Miidyr.
Oh, yeah, after emptying my stomach, I am hungry. So I like orc it down.
Miidyr, I need another Constitution save.
Yes, sir. Nat 20!
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
As
I
you
love
start
my
to
little
eat
dice.
this, it feels great. It actually feels almost needed, as though the vomiting of the previous was a takeaway from what your body wanted.
Okay.
There is a feeling of this is going where it's needed.
Okay, alright. Got it. This is so good. It's just so good. Just talking half full mouth.
I'll write down the recipe for you.
Cool. I can give it to Saul.
No, it's for you.
Well, he does the cooking, but I'll try it, I guess.
It can be your secret. You can work on it until you feel like you've gotten it where you want it to be, and then you can share it with him.
Oh. I guess so.
It's okay to make mistakes. I mean, we just end up eating them anyway. It's okay.
Yeah.
Snarf,
Yes.
as you walk outside of the dwelling and go up to Flora and Miidyr, you can see Miidyr kind of having this relaxed sort of body language, and Flora being more of like a mother kind of being gentle and teaching, but accepting and loving of the interaction that they're experiencing. And you kind of walk up and you see Miidyr with a small piece of a baked good, as they had just removed it from their mouth, and they're kind of covering their mouth as though they're trying to protect people seeing them chew.
It sure does smell good, though. I tell you what. Whatever y'all's got going on. Y'all any warm water?
Sure.
I need it.
I mean, we
for,
can make some warm water.
I
Yes,
would like-
please.
I would think we because at least two of us have two pots. It's because I have my own. Did anybody else have one? Because then I could have like one pot with the actual food in it, and the other one with like hot water for something to drink.
I have a mess kit.
Flora has
I don't
torn
know
into
if
your
that's a
mess
pot.
kit and is using every piece.
That's fine. She can
Hilarious.
have it.
I'll have hot water.
I'll take it back into Basura's room and say, Santa, look, I got hot water.
As you try to talk with... Are you talking to Tsena or Basura?
Oh, I guess I would say Basura's sleeping, so I'll tell Santa I got the hot water.
I'm asleep too.
Oh, shit, I forgot. Yeah, that's right.
That's okay.
I want to put both their hands in there.
No.
Like a group hand, like they both, like all of a sudden
Senna,
their hands
go
are
ahead and give me a
together.
perception check.
Jesus.
So I was going to speak up from the center of the floor. Oh, no, thank you. I don't need hot water. And then right back to me.
Hey, put your hand in there.
18. Basura... Or, sorry, Senna. You feel your hand as you're you're slowly drifting into that deep REM sleep. Your body moves. You are accustomed to being aware of things when you're sleeping, and you feel your hand being lifted, and you hear kind of a as it's like dipped into some warm water.
I'll stay awake from this point, but still pretend that I'm asleep,
Okay.
and just leave my hand in there, kind of jokingly.
I'll roll for Basura here. I have his sheet up, so I'll just go ahead and roll for his perception.
They're gonna love it.
Ooh, we got lower than a 10. I rolled a 3. You pull his hand, and it kind of seems kind of difficult, and as you start to pull it, and you're like, it kind of shifts a little bit. And you steep it into the hot water. Senna, you kind of feel a slight touch of another person's hand in the water.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm gonna go lay down next to Senna. I'm like, oh, fuck, today I gotta go lay down with these guys. They
You
look
have no
fun.
idea how much it's going to take to keep me from just peeing all over you.
Oh shit! Right, I'm going
in
right next to you though.
response.
That's okay. I go right next to you.
Flora's gonna turn to my is it Miidyr?
Miidyr, yeah.
Miidyr, do you think he's gonna bring that pot back out?
Probably not. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you think he wasted that water that we could have used for tea?
I can go check if you want to see.
Yeah, you can still use it.
I can go check. Let me go see what he's doing. And I'm gonna get up and go to the shack and look inside.
As you're walking in, and there's a loud snoring, and you look in and you see Snarf just pass the fuck out next to Senna. Senna has kept his hand in, and he's kind of waiting, in a looks to be a pot of water. You can see Basura's hand, his right hand, kind of dipped into it. And you see Sarloth vigorously writing, and then slowly moving themselves along a lateral movement on the walls, and then writing some more down. Sarloth, I need you to go ahead and make me a wisdom save.
Wisdom. Oof.
13. Okay.
The second one was an accident. I clicked too many times.
Nah.
Oh,
13.
thank God.
You're
I'm
nat
gonna go with the
one.
first one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ugh.
You are feeling yourself entering a state of hyper focus. Your dedication to knowledge is reaching the point where you, as a long researcher, are starting to understand that if you don't stop soon, you will not sleep.
Damn.
And you are writing this down. You are in a groove of focus, and you are writing this stuff with utmost efficiency. And there is a slight moment that you're able to break through with your save and look back, and you see Miidyr kind of looking at you, and she gives you a soft smile.
Oh, hi, dear. And then,
Oh, hi. Right back to writing.
yep. Giant
right back to
shit-eating grin
writing.
on my face.
You have a choice. You can either continue to write, and you will write down every single character that is within this shed, but you will lose out on a long rest. Or you can take a long rest, but you will not gain all the information.
I'm gonna write through the night.
Okay. You will lose out on a long rest. That just lets you know that that is a point of exhaustion when you wake up. As long as you're okay with that, then we can move forward.
Yep.
Okay.
Miidyr is gonna move over to the pot and gently remove Tsena and Basura's hand to take the pot back outside.
Okay. Yep.
Ooh.
Then I'll wipe his hand on Snarf's clothes and go back to sleep.
Okay.
Stick your finger in his ear. I whispered to Tsena as I walked by. And I'm gonna give Sol a kiss on the cheek before I leave the hut and go pour out the water and go find some more.
Sarloth, there is that, again, brief interruption. And there is again a decision. Do you wish to continue and get in a level of exhaustion? Or do you wish to stop and go to sleep?
Do it. Go, go.
I'll keep writing.
Go, go,
Okay.
go,
And as she kisses me, I'm gonna be like, "No, I don't need any cookies, thank you, dear." And
go.
Well, last time I made you cookies, they were burned, so it's fine.
oh no, the cookies were delicious, but I don't need any, thank you.
Okay. We might be making some tea in a bit.
No response.
Mm.
Violent scribbling.
Fair. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave because I know at this point, talking to him is like talking to automated messaging machine.
Yeah, with your experience with Saul, he is deep within his specialty. He is at his most comfortable and at what he's good at.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, so Midyr's gonna just take the pot back out, dump out the water. Is there any clean water nearby that we know of?
Currently, no. You guys, as you were going through the forest as Basura was leading you, there was no rivers, no lakes, nothing of fresh water. The only water that you're currently aware of is the shore, which is salt water.
Okay, so I probably won't pour the water out because I know we don't have a source. I'll just take it back over to her and be like, we just need to boil this one a little longer. Had some hands in it. So, but, it's probably just a little salty. That's all.
Disgusting, but okay, we'll work with it. I do know of a technique of getting the water out of the salt water, and then it's kind of a weird little setup that you have to have with the flame, but if we can get another container, I might be able to get us some more water, or we can dig for it. I'm very good at digging. And she pats her foot on the ground.
Well, everybody's in the hut either asleep or, well, Sarloth is doing what Sarloth does. Um, so maybe just tomorrow we could go get more water. I don't know if I feel comfortable going back to the beach.
Oh no, yeah, not
Just
tonight.
us. Yeah.
We've got what we need. We can make
Yeah.
something for us, and if the others don't stir when we try to give it to them, then we can just reheat it in the morning. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
She makes like a coconut soup thing.
The night kind of reaches a slow pitch. And the conversation between Miidyr and Flora is more conversational rather than deep, as the newly found connections between the connected trauma that everyone has experienced is fresh and new, kind of like the wounds and scars that form slowly. Tsena is slowly drifting into sleep, finally not having one's hand in warm water. Snarf is cuddled closely to Tsena, slowly inching his way back to kind of get the warmth. Basura, your sleep is troubled, but welcomed, as though you feel home, in a sense. Saul, your mind is a fury of interpretation, creating, documentation, research. And each new letter that you create and each new form that you put into your journal further pushes you to document what you have found. Go ahead and give me another history check. I'll give you advantage on this one.
Yay. History. That's better.
As you're reading through these and your extensive knowledge working with Quicks and the Academy itself, you realize that while this is Emberborn, this is deeper and more proliferated throughout. This isn't merely common language. This is specifically created for a purpose. And while the tomes and the research you have done, while being it briefly, as the creatures that exist within Illustra very rarely, if at all, deal with this, your interactions with some of the other professors and some of the other people in the Academy, this is new information. The things that you're writing down are amazing, incredible new discoveries that have never been published, or these symbols have never been read. You are probably the first person, besides Basura, as you can assume, to ever lay eyes upon these particular forms and structures of this language. The Emberborn language currently is estimated to be about 3% understood. And what you're going through would probably add the same, if not more. Miidyr and Flora, as you are kind of slowly sitting down, kind of exchanging conversation. You guys look to the sky and see the dual moons slowly crossing across. And there's almost a feeling of content. Like you have found something that you have yearned or wanted for. Miidyr with belonging. You found that in Saul, but there was always that itch to keep moving. And with Flora, while you were tied down with your children, that's no longer a driving factor of your life. And with the recent visions that you had received a few weeks ago from Lotus, there was almost an acceptance of what you're doing is meaningful and purposeful.
I'm gonna hold my little holy symbol and just kind of like look up at the sky and whisper to it, Lotus, I know you don't really talk, but just let my family know I'm okay in the ways that you do. And then I give it a little smooch.
Nice.
There's a feeling of leaves on wind, leaving and traveling upon and away from home. And we'll end our session there.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that was good.
Hell
Thank you
yeah.
all.
Oh my goodness.
Good to get to